Let them go, let them grow. Let them go, let them grow.
Hello.
Hey, y'all. All right, I'm sharing this out.
Okay. Give it just a few minutes. We got some people hopping on. Be sure to comment. Let us know where you're watching from so we know everything is working.
Okay, so I went ahead. I'm sharing this out on my personal page. Kentucky, y'all, my friends, family, anybody that lives around me has seen the Crittenden Press, has seen Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. Hop in. Hop in. We got Brad with us today. I know we're supposed to do our intros, but so we're going to talk to him about things that he's experienced as well and answer any kind of questions y'all have.
So I
We
guess
got 7 in here.
Do you want to go ahead and start so we can get to chatting?
Yep.
So I am Ashley with Last Call Catfishing.
I am Julie with Run and Gun Catfishing, and today we have...
I'm Bradley Cross with BJC Outdoors.
Welcome. We're excited to have you.
Thank y'all for having me.
So for those who aren't familiar with you, we watch you, but those that aren't familiar with you, can you kind of tell us about yourself and how you got started into this whole YouTube fishing stuff?
Yeah, I'm just an old country boy from North Alabama. I love to catfish, love to fish for everything really. But as far as the YouTube deal, I never thought I'd be doing it. It's not something that I've never imagined I would be doing. I'll tell you a quick story, kind of a testimony. But anyway, my dad died in 2020, and I was alcoholic. Turned into alcoholic, once he died, and trying to cope with all that. But anyway, make a long story short, good Lord took that away from me. I had a lot of spare time because I didn't drink anymore, but I still fished a little bit. So I had to have something to do with my time, and I wanted to kind of get in the ministry type deal. So the good Lord laid it on my heart to do the YouTube deal, and here we are now. So
That's cool.
That's wonderful.
But yeah, that's kind of how I started. Like I said, I'm a very shy person. You catch me looking away from the camera. I struggle. I still struggle with that on my YouTube, looking at the camera. And, but for me, I really didn't think it would be something that I would ever be doing. But like I said, I'm doing it for him, trying to do a ministry part. And plus, I like to catfish, and people watch me, they can hopefully one day, the ones that don't already, find the good Lord and get him in their heart, and that's what it's all about.
Do you fish mainly around Wheeler?
Catfishing does that.
Yeah, I fish Wheeler, Wilson, Pickwick, and I'm fixing to venture up on Gunnersville, and I'm fixing to get out. I'm fixing to travel some, do some other places, kind of get out. You kind of get people like, man, you got the paradise here, but you kind of get bored with the same old scenery all the time. And so I'm going to start venturing off and doing a little more, just checking out some new places, new areas. Probably won't go out of state much, but maybe from Mississippi, possibly Georgia, Tennessee, just surrounding states. And it is. I mean, y'all come here. Most people come here. It is kind of a paradise, but for me, being able to fish it anytime I want, it kind of gets boring doing the same old thing. But I do get humbled. Don't get me wrong. I get humbled in this paradise for sure.
Yep. I understand that. Steven. Hey, Kevin, how are you? So, Brad, are you able to see the chat next to us in here while you're on?
I can, but I had to put my
Do you see
glasses
the chat
on.
popping
I really don't want to wear my glasses, but
I just was making sure if it shows on your end.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it with my glasses on. But yeah, I don't wear my glasses. That's the reason I don't do many. We're fixing to start trying to do lives, and that was a problem. Reason I hadn't done any before because I had to wear glasses to read, and so I kind of look ridiculous in my glasses. So I'm gonna have to get my wife to find me some cool looking glasses where I don't look so much like an old man.
Oh goodness. Kevin is also my hockey. Hey, what's happening? Hey TJ. Hey Jamie, how are you?
PJ. So what's your favorite area down there to fish? Would it be Wilson, Wheeler, Pickwick? Do you have a favorite place?
Well, it's kind of seasonal for me. I like Wheeler in the summer, Pickwick in the winter, and Wilson anytime. Wilson's a good lake, pretty easy lake because it's so small. But I guess my favorite would probably be Pickwick because of it's a narrow river, a narrow lake on the Tennessee River, and the current flow is a little more predictable. You get on Wheeler, you got to have a lot of current to even know you got current.
Yeah.
And, that's the biggest thing. I usually just fish the wind. Whatever lake the wind lets me fish, that's what I go to because the wind's crazy here.
Yep, the wind is not the friend when you're on the water.
For real. Wheeler Lake is just, well, they're all dangerous because the river runs east to west, and if you get some decent current, and then you get the wind blowing, out of the northwest like it does on a cold front, usually in the winter, it gets very rough on all of them. But Wheeler, it's a dangerous lake. It don't take much to turn that lake upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. The chat is active today. I'm glad to see it. Let's get this shared out, y'all. Let's get this shared out.
So how about techniques? What's your favorite technique for fishing, for catfishing?
I do a lot of things. My favorite is suspended. That's my favorite. As far as big fish, I suspend bite it's just unreal. To see them fish just take that rod down, 3 eyes under. There's nothing like that. But I don't get to do it a lot because of the wind. I like to do it calm water. With some current. Usually you don't get the best of both worlds. You get either current with wind or wind or no wind with no current. So, but I drag bait quite a bit in the summer. I don't do it a lot in the winter time. This time of year, most of my fishing is done anchored up.
Charlie says, "What? Come on, bumping all day."
Hey, I love to bump. Now I'm new to it. I've only done it for about a year, but I really enjoy it. I catch a lot of good fish doing it. But people don't want to watch it. I figured that out real quick on YouTube. YouTube's kind of funny. People you want to do what people want to watch, and bumping, since a lot of people don't know how to do it or don't have the waters to do it, they can care less about watching it. So I try. I have to throw it in there every now and then because it's something I can do real quick. It's close to my house. So if I need a quick video or whatever, then I'll run down, blow the water down and do a little bumping. But yeah, I got to say that I don't know why I didn't think of that, but that is one of my favorites. I mean, it's new to me. It's new to me, but I love the bumping bite. But you can always catch fish bumping for sure.
Yep, it's a good time.
Yeah.
So you had a really good time at the Megabucks last year.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I can. I went down with Spencer and Micah. They invited me up to fish with them in that one, and never been there before. Neither one of us had ever fished that area on the Mississippi, and I never fished the Mississippi. Period. I don't think Micah had either. But yeah, I think that was I think that was a God thing. I think that I was there really just for my testimony and just the favor of God being on me. Because I didn't catch many fish. I think I caught one or two fish in pre-fishing, and I think I caught the first one in the tournament, and of course it got cold real quick. But I just take it as a blessing. I went down there and done what I was supposed to do, and kind of showed the love of God everywhere I went, and He blessed me with it. And we come out with a win, and we earned it. But it's just I don't know. It was just one of them deals. It's kind of a bucket list trip for me anyway. I always wanted to fish the Mississippi River, and but to go down there and do that, it was definitely a blessing. Because with us three down there like that, fishing against all those great, I mean some great anglers. Some of the best in the world, and for us to go down there and be able to come out of there to win, it was definitely more than just skill.
Yep.
It was a lot more to it than that. And I told Spencer and Micah, and a lot of people probably disagree with me on this, but you go to a tournament, the tournament's already won before you ever leave the house the morning of the tournament. God knows the way it's going to work out. He's already got it planned. And somebody that wins that tournament, they need to win it. For whatever reason, they need to win it. So if it's your time to win a tournament, there ain't nothing you can do to mess it up. And if it's not your time to win, there's nothing you can do to win it. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
I like that. That's
I
a
love
good
that.
Yep. Yep. What did you think about that tournament? Like the way it was ran with the lights and the music and all that. Isn't that cool?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was kind of, me and Micah for sure, kind of like, kind of shy a little bit. Spencer, he's a little more out there. He's a young cat, so he's a little more out there. But I even seen the shy side come out of him on that deal. But it was awesome, man, to see the fans and people support you. And the biggest thing to me is going somewhere. Because like I said, I'm just a old country boy from North Alabama. To go down there and people know you way off like that, and then find out how many people don't know you. When we won that tournament, everybody's like, "Well, we know Michael, we know Spencer, but who in the world is Bradley Cross?" And because a lot of people didn't tie my name to my YouTube channel, and which a year ago my channel wasn't growing as fast as it is now, but I remember somebody calling me Mr. Unknown. And I like that name. It's like, but I take a lot of pictures with my big catfish. When I hold them up, you can't see my face, so that's kind of where that kind of hit. When everybody's calling me Mr. Unknown, I see why, because you can't see my face. When I'm holding up a big old catfish. So
Yeah, that's funny. I like that too.
But yeah, it was kind of humbling. Like I said, to go somewhere like that and just be around people supporting you, man. You pull in and everybody's cheering you on. Even if they don't know you, they're still pulling for you because, you go into something like that. Of course, like Spencer, he's well known. Micah, he's well known. And you go into somewhere like that, and but being up against the people that we was against, and kind of being underdogs, I guess to say, and everybody pulling for you. And like I said,
I gotta tell you, I wouldn't call any one of you three an underdog.
Yeah.
The fact that you guys are consistently on the water, to me, like, I don't know, say, oh, they're YouTubers. No, y'all are good at what you do. You're good at what you do, and you just posted online. So you guys, to me, weren't underdogs. You may not have been, maybe your name wasn't known in the tournament world. It was. I learned about you through Bama Blues, D-Master. I learned of him on TikTok. So that's when I first, had known your name. I'm not big on YouTube, and I don't post on there nearly enough. But so yeah, because of D-Master, but. No, I would never label you or Micah or, of course, and Spencer. I wouldn't name any one of y'all an underdog. You're out there on the water doing the work. Just because you put videos together doesn't make you an underdog in my book. So I got to give you credit for that.
I appreciate it. And that's the thing. That's what I told Michael when we talked. He was supposed to come up and fish for me well, we've been trying to plan it. And so I called him up and like, hey man, why don't you come up fish with me next week? And he's like, well, we're going to Mississippi to fish the big tournament up there, so why don't you just go with us? And it didn't take me but a minute to say yeah, but it kind of, I told Michael, you got three different guys that fish three totally different ways. Now me and Michael fish a lot alike because he's a river fisherman, but he fishes the Cumberland, and it's a very narrow river, deep river. Where here I fish the Tennessee. In the areas that I fish, it's a mile wide and a shallow river, shallow part of the river. And Spencer, he catches fish. He catches fish at mud hole. I mean, he's all over the board, where he fishes. But when you put that much skill all in one boat, something's got to come good out of it. And we really just we went down there to have fun. And that was the main goal. Whether we won anything, we was hoping we'd qualify for the tournament, and we did. And that was the main goal. We had no idea that we was going to be sitting up there on the stage holding the trophy at the end of the day. It was just unreal. It was definitely a blessing.
It was pretty cool to see you guys win that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Melvin's asking, what part of the Tennessee River do you fish?
I'm sorry?
What part of the Tennessee River do you fish? Melvin is asking.
Oh, I fished Wheeler Lake, Wilson Lake, Pickwick Lake, mainly. But I am planning on, like I said, going to Gunnersville and checking it out. It's a great fishery, and it's probably got the least amount of pressure. Wheeler Wilson gets beat down daily by pressure, but Gunnersville is an awesome fishery, and now there is a lot of people that fish it, but you don't hear it. It's kind of thrown on the back burner unless you start talking about bass.
Yeah. Okay, he said you're south of them, so.
So do you do any other like local tournaments around you, or were the Bama Blues and the Mega Bucks pretty much it?
No, I'm not even a tournament angler, to be honest with you. I fished the Sea Art tournament with Devin D-Master. I fished the Sea Art tournament with him last year. And then we went to the Mississippi River Monster tournament, and then I fished the Bama Blues. That's the only 3 catfish tournaments I've ever fished. But it's kind of funny. I actually go ahead and put this out there. I messaged Devin earlier and told him that I wasn't fishing any more tournaments. That's not my world anymore. I fished bass tournaments for 10 years. I got out of it for a reason. It kind of consumes you, after a while. Especially if you start fishing all the local trails, because it's something every weekend.
Yeah.
And I've done that for 10 years, just wide open, constantly on the water, pre-fishing or either fishing a tournament on a weekend. And so I just gave him the rundown earlier that I was stepping away from the tournament world. And because at my age, you got to quit while you're ahead. And right now I'm ahead. It's just, I just don't have time really. And I don't think it's fair to him or anybody else that I would fish with to not, because I got so much going on with YouTube and and I still work my job, and it's just something else put on the plate that I really don't need. I do enjoy it and I love competition, but I get addicted very quickly to competition, and especially when somebody takes my money, because I spend years trying to get it back, and then you end up spending more and more and more trying to get it back. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, and I'm not going to say that I won't never step back, into a tournament, every now and then. But as of right now, I'm just going to step away from it and kind of do my own thing. It's kind of, I guess, the most frustrating part of it is, for me, being a YouTuber, I got to stay off the lake, way before the tournament because I can't put any videos up on that lake. because people watch it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's the hardest thing because you know when fishing's good, like the Sea Art tournament rolls around, water's on fire, and so I can't. You know, last year I couldn't even film up there for a month before the tournament because I was like, well, if I give up my spots, then people's going, you know, I mean, people's going to find them anyway. They're not going to find the spots, but they'll find the area because you know you can't hide that candy cane tower in the background anywhere on water, you know, and it's kind of that's kind of a big part of it too. It just put more stress on me of having to go somewhere else that I normally wouldn't fish that time of the year. And, kind of the way with the Bama Blues, you know, I was on Good Fish, done a couple of videos up there, and then we decided to fish that tournament, so I just stayed off water completely. Well, that hurt us too because you know, even me being a local, I didn't even go to water till the week before the tournament, so I was lost. I mean, really, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the places that the fish, I mean, the fish were there. They just wouldn't bite. But with low current and stuff like that, it kind of throws us for a loop. But that's the biggest deal with it is just time and getting caught up in it, consumed. And like I said, I'm 50. I think I'm fixing to be 51. Yeah, I'll be 51.
Did you say you think?
Yeah, well, I try not to go over 50. So, you know, so I got to get myself, but yeah, I'll be 51. Won't I be 51? Yes, I will be 51 in April. Uh, but the biggest deal was, you know, at my age, you know, I don't want to get caught back up in something like that because I'm like I said, tournament fishing, it's addictive. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
And we've got local trails here, and you know, like I said, I just rather not step back into that world. Keep it fun, keep it simple, you know, instead of pouring a bunch of money and time into it, and it make it more fun.
Yeah, just win first place in Mississippi Mega Bucks. Just end on top.
And retire. Yep.
Yeah,
That's a good strategy.
Well, see, me and Devin, we got 7th in the Sea Art tournament.
So I was going to ask that. Didn't you do well last year too?
Well, yeah, we've only fished one Sea Art tournament, but we got 7th in it, and but you know, the Sea Art tournament, it's a fun tournament. I mean, it's that time of year fishing's great. Everybody's gonna catch fish. But you know, like I said, it's just any tournament here. As far as the Sea Art tournament or Bama Blues, that's probably some of the hardest tournaments to win because you got, you know, some of the best fishermen in the world come here to fish those tournaments, and you're fishing some of the best waters. So it kind of comes down to, you know, like the Sea Art tournament, everybody's going to catch fish, but it just comes down to who's going to catch the biggest.
Are they though? Are they though? Not this year. We didn't fish that one, but at Dry Creek the week before, oh my gosh. We never had such bad luck on those waters, which I haven't fished them as much as Charlie, of course, but yeah, we definitely did bad. The worst you can do, in fact. So he's gonna be like, why are you talking about that?
There was a couple of comments on here. Miss Cindy White said the grass in Gunnersville can be horrible pulling boards. I'd have to agree with that. We only went there one time and we caught so much grass.
Yep. Charlie tried to go spring, I think a year or two ago, and he sent me a picture with his boards, and it was like the
Covered.
Loch Ness Monsters weave. I mean, just it was crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of aggravating on Wheeler, you know, in the summertime, especially late summer, because that grass starts coming loose at Gunnersville, and it comes through the dam and gets on Wheeler. So it kind of makes it even difficult to drag boards on Wheeler because you're dragging through Gunnersville grass. You know, which is floating grass, of course, but I guess it's because the boats get up in the shallow and cut all the grass loose and it floats down the river. But it gets aggravating on Wheeler in the summertime because of the grass on Gunnersville.
Yeah.
So, do you see, like, I know they've changed the laws and stuff for skipjack down there to help with the bait issue. and we talked a little bit today when I was messaging you, but commercial fishing, you see much of that down there?
Yeah, you mean like illegal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I seen it for the first time. Well, I say the first time, the first time I actually seen it, they was doing it at night up by Wheeler Dam in a tail race, and I didn't know really what they was doing. I just know there were several boats out there, and I could hear these guys hollering at each other. But I finally figured it out. It took me a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to asking around and found out what was going on. But I hadn't seen those guys up there, which I don't fish. I don't fish below Wheeler Dam a whole lot at night, but this past spring I actually seen them on Wheeler, and there was 3 guys in a boat with a crane on it, a little small crane. And when I first seen them, I thought it was TVA workers, because I was close to the Browns Ferry nuclear plant. And so I kept on fishing, didn't think much about it. Well, the fishing was terrible where I was at, so I just rode up and headed down river. And I seen them over on the south side of the river on the bluff over there. And they was picking up these huge, they was like 36 inches round, like 12 inches deep. And they was dropping them down in the water. And then, when they hit the bottom, the little, I guess whatever they had on the crane would let go when they reel it back up. But what it was, I figured it out. It was bait blocks, it was cheese and blood, blocks. And what they do, they go in there and put those out and get those fish coming in, and then they go in like next week and put their nets out, and with the same bait in, of course. But I actually called the game warden here, because that's the thing. I mean, I know y'all seen it. Y'all been dealing with this a lot longer. It's hard to get the DNR on board because you can call them, but that don't mean they're not going to take you serious if they don't know that it's already going on. But I actually called the game warden, and he asked me, of course, could I get some pictures of them? And I'm like, man, I really don't want to fool these guys, because they're running, they're no different than dope dealers, man. These guys probably got guns in the boat, which I got one in mind, but I don't want to have to use it because they're using theirs.
Right.
So I just really want to mind my own business. But he's like, if you just get me a couple pictures and send them to me, that'd be great. And so I did. I just kind of come off anchor and floated down and got close enough to them where I could zoom in. I had my rods out the back. They thought I was just a fisherman. And which they did stop what they was doing for about 30 minutes and just stood there in the boat. Because I think they thought I was watching them, which I was. But they thought that, but once I got my rods out, they thought, well, this guy's just a fisherman. But I did get some pictures and I sent them to the game warden, and he said they take that very seriously here. But Alabama's got the laws to protect. You can't cross the state line. But that don't mean it don't go on because all this stuff done under the cover of darkness. And but what they do here, that's the only time I've seen them. And I don't know about the Ohio River and places like that, but here in my area, they really, really hit it hard during the spawn. Because that's when, like those guys putting out those cheese blocks, blood blocks. I've researched it, and if you can get one female inside of one female flathead inside of a net, all the males are coming. And that's how they're, I know y'all seen the post they used to put on Facebook. I think y'all slowed a lot of that down. Y'all put the pressure on them, but the posters they was putting up where they was dumping, they be 50 flatheads there, 70 plus, big, huge flatheads. And I'm not saying they came from here, but I'm sure some of them have. But they hit them during the spawn because, fishing's easy for us to rod and reel. It's a lot easier for them to catch them in the net. And but that's and that's the hardest part about it. They're not taking just a bunch of 70 plus pound catfish out. They're taking out some heavy hitter lake, baby makers.
Yeah.
And not just that, they're taking out the big fish gene. You've got a 70 plus catfish full of eggs. That's killing possibly thousands of 70 plus catfish.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And that's it. We're not looking at not us, but people aren't understanding the genetic pool that they're removing and seeing that this isn't just recreational anglers, tournament anglers are mad, or recreational anglers can't find big fish, they're not good at fishing. No, you're hurting commercial fishing as a generational means of providing for your family, because now you've taken those genetics out, the big breeders out, you've taken out what could have been hundreds of thousands of catfish. We need to have the sustainability and the regeneration in the ecosystem, and it's being wiped out and removed. And people that think, well, oh, more regulations isn't the way to go and all this and that, like, why are you trying to mess with the man trying to make money? It's not the man trying to make money. This is a small group of people that are greedy and stealing from people that have been doing this for their livelihood for years.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, you know, and I don't care if people get mad at me or not. I despise it. You know, when I was a kid, I used to go with my dad to a pay lake here, but he paid $3 a day, and when you fished in this little pond, you caught little small pond raised catfish, and if you want to take them home, you paid so much a pound to take them home. But nobody was getting them out of the river. Now those pay lakes that are still legal and doing things that way, I'm perfectly fine with it, because some people don't have the means to go fish on the river. But when you're coming down here or Ohio River or anywhere else and taking fish out and putting them in a, you know, basically their deathbed, you know, I have a problem with that. And I despise it, you know, because, you know, we do everything we can to take care of the fish, whether it be a tournament or just catching one in general. You know, you try to make sure the fish is healthy before you turn it loose. You don't keep it out of the water that long. And then, you know, then they come in right behind you, take that fish off, and it's, you know, it's dead in a couple of weeks. And it just, like I said, it's just hard to get. I've been thinking about this because I know y'all was gonna bring it up. You know, you got so many cheerleaders. You know, on like with this whole deal, you got cheerleaders. Cheerleaders don't win ball games. You know, if people's not gonna get on board and step up and try to help, you know, and I'm one. I'm not a cheerleader. I'm on board with whatever I have to do. But you know, they're not in my area. It's not as big of a deal as it is on the Ohio River. I mean, it is a big deal here, but it hasn't got to that point to where people are you know, just throwing a fit about it, because it's only been seen by a few people here. And but you know, I've seen the effects here. You know, when I got out of I bass fished for 10 years. I got completely out of catfishing. I started back catfishing 2.5 years ago, and I seen a huge difference in the big fish that had happened in, you know, over a 10-year period, because it was no problem to go, just for instance, go below Willow Dam on Wilson Lake and catch 5 fish over 70 pounds. That would happen on every trip at night. I mean, it was just on fire. And not to say it can't still be done, but back then it was easy, you know. And you take all the anglers coming here, the best in the world come to Wheeler Lake fishing tournament. The Sea Art tournament, the Bantam Blues, you know, you're talking about 100 plus boats. So the best of the best. And year after year, and every now and then you hear of well, this year a guy caught the 110 pound in the Dry Creek. You know, that's an awesome fish. Well, I guess, you know, my thoughts on it, I guess the Pay Lakers, they missed one, because you don't, all the people coming here and fishing like me fishing daily, you know, I catch 70 pounders pretty regular, but it's hard to get above that. Now they're there. I've caught 80s and 90s. I've caught 3 triple digit fish in the Tennessee River, but the 3 triple digit fish I caught was 15 years ago or longer. But you know, you hardly ever hear of it now. Not saying they're not there, because they are, but they're not there as plentiful as they used to be, and definitely not as plentiful as they should be.
And they won't be there for long.
No.
At the rate that it's going. At the rate that it's going, they're not going to be there for long. Because just like you said, you know, during the spawn, you're hit hard. We're being hit hard right now. Like, maybe not this week, but I was just out 2 weeks ago, and there are floats everywhere for trout loans and sitting out all over our pools. And I mean, this year has been rough. I don't get me wrong, we've caught a couple nice fish, but nothing like we used to. And I've quit going live. I mean, not that that changed anything. You can still see all my videos and stuff like that, but I don't go live anymore. And, you know, it's just, it's just sad to see that it's gotten this bad. And they traveled all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is almost the end of the road of the Ohio River.
Well, I'll tell you my take on that. You're talking about not doing your live. You know, it's not going to hurt to do them because the damage is already done. They already know. They already know the areas that they fish year after year. So they was doing it way before me or you,
I
or
know.
any of us ever started. But I was that way with YouTube. You know, I hid my spots, you know, or the areas the best I could. Because I was scared. You know, first I was scared. I just didn't want other people swarming my spots. But then when the pay lake thing come along and I started, you know, reading about that and hearing about it, I really got. That was my goal, was to keep those guys out of it.
Yep.
But they already know way before I started.
Yeah.
You know, because this has been going on for years. You know, they actually caught the guy this past spring. He don't live far from me. I can smell him from here. But he's about 10 miles from me on 101, and he's he moved here about 21 years ago. I remember when he came here and he opened up a commercial fishing business that he was catching catfish out of the river on trot lines. He had a lot of guys working for him. Well, when they arrested him this past spring, they had been watching him for 2 years, and he took 9,000 pounds out of the Tennessee River right here in my area to Ohio to the Pay Lake, and that was him alone. 9,000 pounds, one guy in 2 years. Well, my thinking is why did they let it go on for 2 years? You know, why let it get to 9,000? Why wouldn't you stop him when when he got to 500 or when?
Right.
Because it's the same fine regardless. So, but but then it got thrown under the rug. I haven't heard anything else about it, which he is charged in, I think, Alabama, Tennessee. He's charged in 3 or 4 states because every time he crossed the line, it was a
Illegal.
different fine. But he'd been doing it. He'd been here for 20 years. Well, they only started investigating him, 2 years before they arrested him. Well, how long was he doing it before that? And that's the deal. But it's kind of sad because you knock one guy out, somebody else moves in because it's almost like a drug ring. They're making big money off of these fish.
Yep.
And it's like I get boiling, man. I get boiling inside when I start talking about it because it's sad to me, man. I mean, it's different when you're looking into you sitting there looking into the eyes of a 2-3 pound catfish getting a hook out of it. But when you got a 50 plus catfish in a boat, them things is like, they're just something special about them. I mean, y'all know what I'm saying? They're kind of like looking in a dog's eye versus looking into a rat's eye. A rat's just an old rat, but a dog is a dog. And it's like, you just see all those years that those fish have been in here, and you do your best to keep them healthy, keep them alive, put them back in the river, and then those people come and just basically rape the rivers.
Catfish is the only fish that they let that happen to. The only species. Like, you can't do it to deer, you can't do it to turkey, you can't do it to bass. Like, you can't take them from a public resource and trap them to let people profit off of them. So why is this okay?
Oh, if it was a bass, especially in
Alabama,
they'd
lose their mind.
They would be people. The prisons would be full because they would go nuts. But it being an old catfish, I usually get checked by the game warden. I don't get checked very often anymore because now they know they're going to be on camera. But because we only got 2 game wardens in my county, and it's a big county. Most of this area in Alabama only have 2 wardens per county, and there's some big counties that join the Tennessee River. But I've never, and some of them are great. We've got one here in my area. He's awesome, and I said one of them. One of them's awesome. One of them. The other one's not so much. But anyway, I've never had a game warden to check my license, and ask me, even though they know I'm catfishing, have you got a big catfish in the boat? They just don't check because it's just the old catfish,
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm out there crappie fishing, and the game warden comes up, he's gonna see how many crappie you got. Well, you mind if I look at them? Well, that one looks a little short. You mind if I check him? You never hear that with a catfish. It's just old catfish. You know, they think the rivers are so full of them, and the rivers are full of smaller fish. But you know, it's dwindling down so fast. You know, and like I said, I'm speaking. Uh, I'm actually talking to y'all like I'm on the Ohio River, but I'm not. But I know what y'all are dealing with there because I know that it's coming here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because once they do what they can do there, uh, you know, they're gonna move on, and even if they start putting pressure on them in Ohio or wherever, it's still gonna push them somewhere else because
Oh
they're
yeah.
gonna have they should not allow the pay lakers. If you've been caught in this ring like they caught those, you know, it's several of them that they caught with the guy here that was actually transporting them. They should shut them down and they should never be able to operate again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then you shut it down completely, and then you
Mm-hmm.
just go on down the line
And
until
offer
you get.
leniency to figure out where this is coming from.
Yeah,
Find
exactly.
out. It's just like any other illegal operation. There's somebody that is regulating this, that is running this, that is at
Oh
the
yeah,
top.
yeah,
Like, figure it out. Figure out who is at the top and make change.
yeah. And a lot of it too. I think a lot of it is it's kind of a money laundering deal.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody up top's probably getting paid to keep their mouth shut because it's just the
Yep.
old catfish to them. Because the people up top that's probably getting paid don't even fish and could care less. You know, and
Yep.
that's kind of what it comes down to. You know.
Yep. They're going to need to watch out because people care.
We were told this week by a commercial fisherman on a public forum because I told him we're not against commercial fishing. Like, do it, you know, that's your means of making a living. Like, we understand that. Take all the eater fish you want to market for people to eat. I totally understand that. People love to eat catfish, but leave the big fish alone. And his
Yeah.
comment back to us was, why would I do that when I can get paid thousands of dollars for a big fish?
Yeah.
So that should tell you that these people have no ethics. Like
Oh yeah.
they don't care. They have
They
no
could care
morals.
less.
They're in it for the money. They're not in it because it's fun
Yeah.
for them.
And I'm kind of like that. You know, I'm not against commercial fishing. I know people's got to make a living, but you know, it ain't no different than me or anybody else. You know, now I used to not make a living legal, but it wouldn't do with an animal. You know, but you know, if you're gonna do it legal. You know, don't be taking fish over the size limit. I don't think you should be able to take a fish, period. Even in Alabama, the 33, 34 inches. Uh, I don't think you should be able to take one that big. It's just one per person. But when you got five guys on a boat coming down here at night from a pay lake, you know they're going to take 5 fish back with them. You know,
Yeah.
well, you know they're legal as long as they're on the water. But once they cross the state line, they're not legal. But once they cross the state line, they're scot free because there's nobody out there patrolling it or investigating. I mean, like you said, you know, you got somebody poaching deer, or something like that. They're gonna be on it, man.
Even just one poached deer.
Yeah, but
One
you know that.
poached deer, if you get caught, you're in so much trouble. But I mean, and seeing this raid in Kentucky is such a great thing to show that they're watching.
Yeah.
But we need it to happen everywhere, you know.
Oh yeah, it's not just one waterway. It's it's all of them. You know, and like Alabama, there there's our laws are messed up anyway. But I feel like every state that's got anything to do, just say the surrounding states of Ohio or 2 states over surrounding Ohio, uh, they should have an operation pushing this. It shouldn't be up to me or y'all or anybody else out there as a fisherman to have to look for it. Because there's now in my area, I kind of understand we've got so many boat ramps here. It's hard for them to know where they're putting in and where they're loading up at. But I do know they're not going south; they're going north. So the boat ramps on the north side is all they've got to patrol. Because once they leave anywhere in my area, they leave the Tennessee River going north. They're only 15, 20 minutes from the state line. Well, then they're in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I think Tennessee, supposedly has the same law. You can't cross the state line with a live fish, if I'm not mistaken. A
Mhm.
live trophy fish. But they're getting around it, and they're probably traveling the same old roads, doing the same old thing because just nobody's pushing.
Yeah, you said something. It's not up to any individual catfisherman or any angler to do so. But the problem is that when they take this stuff to our Congress to make changes, the Pay Lake owners, the people that participate at Pay Lakes, and the commercial fishermen all band together and they go to these things and they walk in there as united front. Like, this is our livelihood. You're trying to kill the small businessman. Where's the rest of the catfish people? Like, they're all quiet. Everybody wants to hop on Facebook and say, we need to do this, we need to do that. But then when people are trying to make a change and they're trying to get regulations pushed, nobody wants to stand with you.
Yeah,
Like, how many people have made the call to the House of Representatives that I've gone through every post I can with a comment about it. Like, here's the phone number, please call. You don't have to be a resident. You just have to call and let them know. I've given out district numbers that were impacted by the raid, links to everything. And I single-handedly messaged everyone that commented on my post that lives in Kentucky. And all I said is I need help, and sent all the information in a write-up specifically to Messenger individually with a follow-up even of saying, did you have time to make the call? Did you take the chance? Because I know it's annoying to have to call on something. But if you get on Facebook and you're upset about what you're seeing and you don't take the time to make that call or send the email, whatever you prefer to do, you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, it's here. It's here. Like, this whole, I wish there was a change for this, that, and the other. Well, there's nothing to vote on for that, but we have this to vote on. Please vote on it. Like, this is what we've got. It is a step in the right direction. Please vote on it. So, thank you for sharing that.
That's the ones I was calling the cheerleaders. They want to stand back, cheer it on, and support it, but when it comes down to it, they don't want to take that stand.
Just pick up the phone and call that number in the chat. Hey, Travis, call that number in the chat and tell them you want to see protection. I just sent Charlie's whole family the district, I think it's 70, which gets you kind of around the Maysville, Augusta area. Let them know to vote yes, you fully support House Bill 397 to protect trophy catfish. Every voice matters.
So do you have to to have a Kentucky fishing license to do that?
No,
you don't have. No.
You can even email them. If you go to the last run page, we have it pinned to the top of our page, the list of the districts, who covers that district, what area of the river that is, and their email address. So you can email them and just say, as a catfish angler who fishes Kentucky waters, I am in support of House Bill 397. It can be as simple as that. Please vote for this bill.
Yep. And Brad said, I'm out. These locals don't need to be shown how to fish, Doug. We got that covered. Dad, I see you're watching. Did you call yet? I've been on him too. Oh, he may have hopped off by now, but it popped up on my end.
And a lot of the senators and stuff, like they might respond to you. Like, they want to hear from people. So they're elected officials. So if they know that there's a huge issue that a lot of people in the community are wanting, that's what we need. We need to show support of this for our Kentucky family so that Ohio, Indiana, all of these other states will take notice of this, that there needs to be changes for catfish.
Yes, we'll be in Memphis to answer your question. But yeah, please just take the time to call, write that number down, save it in your phone, call it now so it's saved in your phone, and just hop on. It's easy to look up which legislator. You can look that up online, or again, you can look it up with Ashley, or not Ashley, but what she posted on the last run. Yeah. So if you live in Ohio, you can still call Mom. And that's why I was telling you, tell your friends to call. Like, literally anybody can call. And I can send you the information even so that you can tell your friends, like, because I've got a bunch of like areas of legislators that you can send that message to. And you guys to call, all you have to do is call. They answer the phone. They'll ask you your name, They may ask if you've called before. Just say no. Tell her your address and say, I just want to let the legislators know in Kentucky that I want them to support House Bill 397 to protect trophy catfish. And if she asks what districts, it's really simple to look up. So if you have questions on what district, please feel free to message me anywhere. Ashley, the Last Run page, and we will tell you guys whatever information to help you get that message in, because right now we have two legislators that are actually supporting the bill. There is 3. I checked before we got on. Is there?
Yeah, there's 3. I had it pulled up. I was trying to.
2 more.
Yeah.
2 more or 3 more?
3. There's 3 total. There's Representative DJ
yeah.
Johnson, Kimberly Banta, and Matthew Lehman.
Yes, and I think Banta is along the Ohio River, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, she is. So that is awesome. You guys, I spent all night, like most of the night last night, sending emails to every single legislator that I could find that touches the Ohio River and the Green River. I found the Green River counties and I messaged them as well. And I sent one to all of them.
Yep, we sent over 40 emails yesterday. So we're trying.
They encouraged me to call on any bills, so they set me up, and now it will be simpler to call again. Yes, and they do. So once you call the first time, you can call again, and they won't have to ask you all the information, like where you live. They'll just ask your name.
And I know some of our friends.
And you can call too, Alex. You can call too.
Sorry, Dave. Some of our friends from Alabama are on here. So, I mean, please don't think that because you're down in Alabama that you can't make a difference, because your voice does matter in this issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Hey, Brent, tell the boys, call Kentucky House of Representatives and let them know you support House Bill 397. If you guys want me to help you get different legislators to get the message to before you call, I'd be happy to do that. Let Chris know. He's got to do it. If you support it. Only if you support trophy catfish protection, okay? If you don't, then call anyway. Yeah, that would be awesome. It's easy. I didn't have to wait on hold. PJ, I appreciate everything you've done. You guys, PJ is trophy cat tackle. Ever since Charlie started fishing, and I was like, ooh, what's like, I'd done content creation myself for home decor stuff. And I was like, ooh, what's out there? What companies? Maybe like you can work for companies like doing fishing stuff. And he was one of the first ones that Charlie had purchased things from. And I looked up, and we do not support pay lakes. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I never ended up filling out the application, but that was years ago. And then I didn't even know we're actually from really close to the same area in Ohio. But Brent, I got you. I will do that. I'm going to put that on my list. Steven, you better call too. Rising Sun is impacted by this. Hey, Liz, how are you? So, yeah. Sorry. Soapbox, y'all. I get a little passionate.
But you guys kind of went through this in Alabama with the skipjack stuff, huh? When they changed the laws and all that stuff.
Yeah, we did. There used to not be a limit on skipjack, but they was very plentiful here. And then it went to 100. And but we had some guys to come down from out of state and basically set up shop here for years. Just commercial bait guys. And of course, when the tournaments come here, there's a lot caught too.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys was out there. It'd be 5-10 boats of them every morning, every evening. Catching 100 per person. Well, by the end of the day, they've got 5,000 skipjack. Going in the cooler. Which I understand if you're doing it legal and you're getting your limit, and that's all. But over harvesting is the same thing with skipjack is going on with the catfish. You're over harvesting. And they was, catching in the spring when the skipjack was really moving here. That's your baby makers. They're getting ready to spawn. They're full of eggs. Well, they're catching all the females out and pretty much just about depleted them. I mean, they came back pretty strong this year, which was the first year the law had been
In
dropped down to
effect.
50,
Hmm.
but it made a huge difference, just cutting it back to 50. And plus, but when they cut it back to 50 and made it, no sales of skipjack in the state of Alabama from the Tennessee River is what it says. Uh, but there's still loopholes. There's ways around it, and they're using it. But you don't see them on the water as often, and a lot of them had to go back to their day job. They couldn't when they had to do it legal. They cut the limit back and started enforcing it. The game wardens would be at the dam, checking your cooler when you come in, from the morning to the evening, see how many skipjack you had, and that's all it took. And that's all it take with a catfish. Just a little enforcement.
Yep.
Just show up once a week. 5 days a week. Go to a different route. Show up, check boats for trophy oversized catfish, over the limit trophy catfish. Do that for 5 days a week for a year, and the word gets out. Hey, we can't do this here no more.
Yep.
That's all it would take. But it's just hard to get them on board to do it. But and I don't really understand, because all the money that could be made from a state from fines, is that going on? And I don't think it should be a smack on the hand, a $500 fine. I feel like, lose your fishing license for a year. Second offense, you lose them for good. And if they catch you without a fishing license and you've been charged for overharvesting trophy catfish, then you go to jail. Beef it up, make the fines, make the charges and the penalties stronger, to where people don't want to do it.
Absolutely, because the slap on the wrist isn't stopping anything really.
Yeah.
It's just a drop in the bucket of what people can make doing it illegally, unfortunately.
Well, like you said, it's all illegal, and like Ohio has zero oversight on pay lakes. Like nobody's checking in on these things to see what they're stocking or how they're getting them there.
Yeah.
So until we can get some changes made, like it's do whatever you want.
And see, that's kind of the easiest way to do it, is go to the pay lakes. If you put there's a lot less pay lakes than it is commercial fishermen. So you go put the pressure on the pay lakes. Show up there once a week. They got to have a log every fish that comes in there. If they catch them with one that's not wrote in a log, then you get shut down. No questions asked. It's that simple.
Yep.
It's just getting the people on board that want to take it serious and shut it down. We need a cat fisherman in the big house is what we need. We need somebody in there that
Julie First, the House of Representatives. I was telling Ashley, like, ooh, I need a suit, but maybe I can go and be in the House of Representatives.
Hey, we can vote Charlie in.
Oh.
Charlie in.
Yeah, we can try.
But that's what it takes, is somebody in there with a heart about it, because even the right people, still, they're just catfish. They're just doing what the people want. But if you got somebody in there that really truly cares and knows, what these big fish are, to not just a couple people, there's thousands, possibly 100,000s of people that care about the well-being of trophy catfish.
Yep.
Whether my kids are my kids are grown, but my grandkids and their kids, it ain't about that. It's about now. Shut it down now, because by the time my grandkids get grown, there won't be any.
Yep.
5 years is a big deal when it comes to doing that, and 10 years is too late. It's way too late. It's already almost too late, but it can be sustained and make a comeback if they get on the ball and stop it now. I hope I never see them on the river out there actually doing it. And I know a lot of catfishermen. I got a lot of people to back me, so I know some people will come bond me out. But it's it kind of just makes you bold. I've only seen it that one time, but it hurts my feelings so bad I would almost probably park my big old Sea Ark right in the middle of there. But that I shouldn't have to. We shouldn't have to do the job.
Yep.
So,
I know when we went out to see Julie and Charlie, they were commercial fishermen, and I started recording them. Like they came right at us. Like we must have been almost up on their lines because they came right at us. And I pulled my phone out to start recording them, and they pulled their nets around to the front of their boat so we couldn't see what they were pulling in.
Yeah.
Because they knew we were recording them.
Oh, they'll get nasty. I don't know if it's the ones that are following the law or the ones that are not following the law, but we've had threats. Our friend was threatened first, then the same guy threatened Charlie, and then while he was out fishing with a couple friends, they'll sit there and bump through Charlie's lines, and he's like, and they've done it. The same guy's done it more than once, and Charlie's like, you better not think about cutting my line. Oh man, it's him, the guy and his wife. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's just sad. It's sad that it's like that, because the thing is like, we want everybody to do what they need to do. Do your thing, but don't come and be aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, just, I don't know, little less hate.
Yeah, and it kind of becomes that because you got catfish. It ends up being a catfisherman versus a commercial fisherman ordeal, and that's not what it's about. You know, so like y'all said, and I'll say, you know, we don't hate commercial fishing as long as you're doing it legal, and turn the big ones loose. You know,
that's it, and that's what I think that we all got to like focus on both sides. Is a lot of recreational fishermen do practice CPR. I mean, I feel like most do. Like, we don't go fishing to feed our family. We go fishing to have fun and the experience together and try and chase that new PB, but we always put them back in good condition. We burp them, you know what I mean? And a lot of people that do fish, like we all do, spread awareness on different things for better fish care because we care about that. So it's like, I don't know, I wish we could all like team up together and like have that conversation. Like, we're not trying to harm your resource. We're trying to protect it for you guys. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, we have also, I'll say, a good experience on the water is Charlie's talked to, and I wasn't there, but talked to another guy who doesn't like those ones that are taking the big resources because it is hurting their means. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if we all kind of like step back and talk about this, I feel like it would really kind of go a little bit further. You know what I mean? Like, we really could actually like come together to see a positive change.
Well, it's kind of like this, you know, you take even commercial fishermen, you know, here they're allowed one fish, you know, 34 inches. Usually there's at least two guys in the boat. So there's two fish over 34 inches. Well, it don't matter if it's, you know, a 35 pounder or an 80 pounder. They're going to keep it.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the law is messed up here. Because, you know, that's a daily thing.
Yeah.
And even if they're not tied in with the pay lakes, they're just general commercial guys that's out here catching fish and selling them by the pound. You know, to their distributor or whatever. They're still putting a hurt on the catfish but the thing is, you know, you catch a 60-pound blue, you're not going to get as much meat off that 60-pound blue as you will 10 pounders. See what I'm saying? It don't make any sense. It don't make any sense to kill that big
It's
one.
mostly waste.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, like, if you think about the impact of what that fish's lifetime of absorbing all the things that it swam through its whole life, you would almost think that there would be a maximum for consumption rule, honestly. If you really like think about it, there should kind of probably, I don't know, I haven't talked to a biologist, but I feel like that would be something that would be interesting to study and read studies on and learn. Like, really, is it even a good idea to do that? No. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they stink regardless. You get a big fish in the boat, they already stink.
They do.
Where you get a 5, 10, even up to a 20-pound fish in there, you know, they look cleaner, they look healthier. But those big ones, they sit down there, you know, and they don't just sit still. You know, they go up down the river through the spawn, and you know, when the river's raging, you know, stuff like that, they're all over the river. And like you said, they're consuming all that nasty for years and years, you know, and it shouldn't be fit it shouldn't be fit for consumption. That's
Yep.
why are they letting them keep them and sell them when they're probably
Jot that down, Ashley. We need to look into that.
Okay.
I know you got that pen and paper.
I do.
They're feeding all these people, the bigger fish, and it's not good for them for one thing. But and y'all know, like I do, if they're keeping, just say, a 60-pound cat, 60-pound blue, y'all know how easy it is to catch 10-pounders. So putting out a trot line, turn the 60 loose, because you probably you'll have 6 10-pounders, just like that. So those are just easy fish to catch.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a
Yep.
it's a time thing. They want to get it done as fast as they can, get the most weight they can, and like I said, and that's the selfishness of commercial fishermen. Not all of them. Like I said, I have nothing against commercial fishermen if they're doing it right, but I don't feel like any of them in any state should be able to keep a trophy catfish. And I know people's going to bring up, well, the tournament, they catch them and ride them around all day and take them to a weigh them in. A lot of them, some of them do die, but not many. But at the same time, we're not taking them out of that. And and if Joe Blow wants to go catch him a 80-pound blue and take it home and fillet it up and cook it and eat it, then that's great. At least it got 8.
Yeah.
It ain't like the ones going into the pay lake, because they get took out of the river, thrown in a pond until they die, and then they get dumped. Nobody benefits from it except the guys that's making the illegal money.
Yep. That's it.
There's no fishing license that has to be bought. Nothing. Like, they're just profiting from the pay lake.
Yep. And it is astronomical numbers. It is definitely. But that's why we do this podcast. To raise awareness. And again, like you said, and we'll say it again, this is not against pay lakes that are ethically ran.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to compile a list of ethically ran pay lakes to put awareness out for those types, because I feel like everybody needs access to fishing. I feel like people with disabilities and children and people that don't live near big bodies of water or whatever, I think there's a need for them. Yeah. But there's a need for them to be ran ethically.
I've seen somebody.
Sorry.
I seen someone comment on one of y'all's posts earlier about just a regular guy going out wants to catch a big catfish and put it in his pond.
Yeah, mine. Mm-hmm.
That won't work. I've tried it. They'll die in your pond just like they do in the pay lakes. My dad put 2 flathead in my pond several years ago. They didn't get big because the pond's so small. But they done great for a little while. But I found one dead the other day. They just cannot sustain. There's not enough for them to eat in a pond full of catfish.
Yes, that is such a great point. And I actually have I did follow that up with kind of the response to that. Most biologists agree that trophy fish, by the above definitions, which is over 35 inches for a flathead and a blue, and then 28 inches or larger for a channel cat. So that's the definition. So the trophy catfish will not survive in someone's farm pond. There are 2 major reasons. The forage isn't there to support such a large fish, and the water quality is usually higher summer temperatures that cannot support these big catfish in the what they need to sustain life. So it's fact. It's fact, guys. Yep. You are probably right, Travis. He said that the list will be a lot smaller than the unethical ones, I'm sure. And that's the thing, is some of these pay lakes do have farm stock pond that people can take from, but the rest of them are not. You know what I mean? Yep. So they have both. And anyway.
You brought up a good point. So I took some notes today before we came on here, because last year we had Dave Arnold. He's a guy from Indiana who has done a lot of research, talked to a lot of biologists. He's went to the Kentucky board when they've done their sessions and stuff to fight for catfish. And he has a video, and he talks about why it's more beneficial for them to let the fish die and buy new ones than it is to do what's right for them. Because to have an 80, like this is for one 80-pound catfish. He said most of their ponds are 1 to 3 acres. So there's that. And then to stock that for food, you have crappie, bluegill, bass. And he says marine biologists from across the world recommend that you call 40 pounds per acre a year of each species. So if you have a 3-acre pond, that's roughly 360 pounds of fish. An 80-pound blue cat will eat anywhere from 2 to 5% of their body weight up to 9% of their body weight a day. So you do the math. He says that's 1,400 pounds of food that one 80-pound fish is going to eat a year. So if you only have 360 pounds of food for them to eat, they're not going to live. Not to mention they don't have the room that they need to keep it, like balanced. So it's easier for them to just let that fish die and go buy a new one.
And that's one, but they're stocking these lakes by the thousands of pounds at one time on a routine basis. So
yeah, and they don't feed them because if they feed them, then they won't bite for the little tournaments that they have.
Right.
So they don't. They basically starve them to death.
And juicing, they juice their ponds.
Yeah, it's just sad all the way around. First of all, taking them out, period. And then throwing them in a pond, and they know they're gonna die. They know they are. But like I said, I have nothing against pay lakes that are doing it right, that are getting their fish brought in from a brooder, whatever, and stocking their pond, and that's awesome. I support that 100%. But the ones that are actually taking the fish out of the river, I'm totally against that, man. And I like I said, I'm on board to do whatever I have to do, whether it's my state or not. I'll sign something. I'll make the call. I'm not gonna be a cheerleader, because I hate it. I hate it here. I hate it happens anywhere. But I know whatever y'all doing there, it's gonna have to filter down this way because they're coming here too, and it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse and worse.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. Yep.
Yeah, it's too bad we couldn't find some of those ethically ran pay lakes because I'm pretty sure that the owners there, they should be against these other ones because it's hurting their name.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's got to hurt them.
In their business, because I mean, obviously the draw to the other ones is. I'm definitely going to look. If y'all are watching in the Kentucky, Ohio, Alabama, anywhere, and you know of farm-raised pay lake owners, send them my way. Send them anyway, me, Ashley, and we definitely would be happy to talk to them as well, even if it's just off the record, honestly.
And there's pay lakes doing that a lot of places. There's now I'm not 100% on the name, which I'm not going to call the name on here no way, but a friend of mine lives in central Tennessee, and there's actually one in Tennessee that's getting them out of the Tennessee River. And so it's going on. It's not just, it's not just in Kentucky, it's going on in a lot of states. And there could be one here in Alabama, it's just nobody's pushing or nobody knows yet. But, the ones that go on Facebook and advertise it, that was kind of crazy, I'm like, how are you going to publicize a legal operation,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of them from Ohio that are pretty cocky about it. Like he gets on there and makes videos and says, "Yeah, I'm taking the fish from your river. What are you going to do about it?"
Yeah.
Because he knows that, there's nobody that can do anything to him.
Yeah, and so that's what makes me think a lot of there's somebody up top that's getting paid off. That's that's just kind of shoving it under the rug, or either just not taking it serious because it's a catfish, But they don't understand, you got the bass fishing world. Of course, they're making, billions and billions off the tournament world, and then you got the catfishing world that's coming on strong. The money that comes into each state, from catfishing. You know, you think they wouldn't treat it so much like just old fish, you know, old junk fish. But I mean, it's like they treat they think of catfish as a lot of people think about carp or drum, you know, and it shouldn't be that way because catfish bring a lot of money in, you know, and you know even the legal commercial guys should be on board with it because it's affecting them too. If you taking out
Yep.
all the baby makers are laying eggs. That's sustaining the fish that they're catching and selling to the market. So why wouldn't they be on board unless they're on the other side? You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
it just don't make any sense.
Yep. Absolutely. So operated. Let's see. Cedar Fishing Lake. Jamie said maybe one that does farm raised.
Travis, if you know the name of that place that you're talking about, can you shoot me a message and I'm going to check on it? Yeah, some of them, like, I wouldn't want to mess with them, you know, like they're scary. Like you said, like they might pull a gun on you or, you know, because we've talked about having some like previous like Pay Lake fishermen on here and like why they don't. And I would be worried for their safety, honestly, like because some of these people are crazy. And if they know that you're going to come on a public podcast and talk about the things that they were doing unethically that can be proven, you know, what are they going to do to shut you up?
Well, I'm easy to
there
find.
was,
That's all I got to say.
there was a claim made that someone knows who reported the anglers on that raid. I thought about reaching out, you know, just
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's true, but it was a claim. And I was thinking, they want to talk?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not doing nothing illegal, then you know you shouldn't have a problem with coming on here and telling your side. You know,
Yep.
why don't commercial guys come on here and jump on board and give their side?
We've tried.
You know,
We've offered.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anybody specifically. I mean, I'm sure I know someone that knows someone, but I haven't like nobody's let me know. I guess I do have a friend that is supposed to come on the podcast that, you know, has a lot of insight on Ohio Pay Lakes. That's willing to come on and talk. But I mean, I don't even care to do it where you guys are on the screen. If anyone wants to come and talk and doesn't want their name or their identity shared, you can come on and do this. I mean, it's that simple. If you like to talk, but you don't want your identity out there.
Well, I didn't know that, or that's what I would have done.
Yeah. Yep. So, or like Ashley, you can put a green screen. I don't know if guests can do the green screen or not because I don't remember. I've never done it like that as a guest. But if you just turn a green screen on and sit to the side, no one can see you. Like when Ashley turns sideways and her face goes away. Yeah. So just so anyone knows, if you want to talk on here but want to do it anonymously, you can. We got options.
Mine's not working.
We're teaching Brad new things.
Okay, so Cedar Lake, I want to let y'all know Cedar Lake does not do farm raise. So just so you know. But I did just reach out to one Pay Lake just to see what they do. They responded, but I don't want to go fishing. I just want to know if you do farm raise. But anyway, so you know, I'm gonna try and find some options to see if we can't get some support from other, you know, business owners.
And like you said, you know, we're not hating against all commercial fishermen. If you're legal, you're legal. We support you. I mean, you're feeding America, I guess you'd say. But the people that y'all are fighting against, you know, that's staying in the river, they're hurting everybody.
Yep.
Not just the pleasure fishermen that want to catch a big fish. They're hurting the commercial guys that are doing it legal. You know, because like I said, they're killing all the baby makers, and that's just it's plain and simple. I mean, it's hurting all the way around. So, I mean, and that'd be awesome if y'all could get some commercial people on board. You know, because you take somebody that's been buying license from the state for 20 years that wants to help. You know, that they can reach a lot of people, and sometimes reach the right people because you know they're fighting it. They're fighting it both ways. They're shutting down the trophy part of it, but at the same time protecting the commercial part of it that's doing it right.
Yeah, I shared the link, guys, in the chat over here. If you're curious what House Bill 397, like the language and stuff in it, you can click on that and it'll take you to the actual like rundown of what this bill is. Julie and I have talked about doing a Q&A session because we've gotten lots of questions and just a lot of chat about it here recently, and we don't want to give you any kind of false information. So we're in contact with some of the guys from the backcountry hunters and anglers that have been a huge part of getting this step taken care of. So as soon as we get a time for that, we will set that all up.
Yep.
Rainbow Lake, Jules. You want me to write these down, or are you writing these down?
If you don't care, I don't have a pen and paper. I'm still trying to find out the answer to my question on here. But so, and then do you care to reshare the phone number again for the legislators, since it'll be in the chat on all of them again, just so people, if you're wondering, you guys. So House Bill 397 is an act relating to trophy catfish, and this would make trophy size catfish illegal for live transport. If you are an angler that does fish for food and you catch a trophy fish, it just has to be unalived before it is transported. Then that is for the purpose of food, not for the purpose of stocking. And then it would also revoke the 15 special permits. So in the verbiage of the summary, I want it to be clear. When you read it, it may look like catfishing or commercial fishing isn't allowed. That's not what the bill says. You have to open the bill and read the whole thing. But it is revoking there's 15 special licenses for commercial fishing in Kentucky that allows for 4 overs each day for those 15 commercial anglers. It revokes those. So everyone would be at that one limit. Travis, I don't know which. Julie, I apologize. I let someone have it on. Oh, I don't even know if I've seen it. You're fine, Travis. It's okay. But anyway, so it does revoke those 15. It does not change commercial fishing as it stands. So again, this is not tournament or recreational anglers against commercial fishing. This is against the exploitation of a public resource for personal gain. This is to protect all of us in the legacy of fishing. How would that affect tournaments? It may affect tournaments. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how that will look because I myself have not read the full bill yet. I've been doing too much raising awareness for it, but for me, that is a small loss for a big gain. Honestly, as much as we enjoy it, we enjoy online tournaments just as much as we enjoy traveling to tournaments. So if that means in the state of Kentucky, you have to do catch, photo, release, or say tournaments can be hosted on docks, for example, that would be a way to, still have that option. I've been to a tournament where weigh-ins were on the dock, and it was kind of cool. So it is definitely something that could affect tournaments, but small loss for a big gain if this passes, in my opinion.
Yeah, they got to keep it even for everybody. So if that means no transportation of live fish, that means no transportation of live fish. It doesn't mean that
trophy. It's pertaining to trophy. I want to be clear. This is pertaining to trophies. So tournaments could still run. It would just be under 34 inches. So you could still do a tournament with a drive-through weigh-in, but it's the trophy that you cannot trailer. But yeah, like somebody said, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. He said it on my post, and I told him, I said, look, I agree. As much as we enjoy tournaments, guys, we can't change the bill. So listen, I've had a lot of people say, I'd like to see them change how many rods you can use in this comment. Also asked them to add ban and use of jug lines. I did. I don't know if that can be added in once the bill's already in there, but that is something that, whatever things y'all want to stand for, it takes a lot of work to get to the point to get something like this in the House, this bill in the House. So gotcha. I did not know about that, Chris. Brother, do you read that? Brother Brad has the cabin green screen.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
He's been here before.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
y'all,
we're
I
still
don't think it hurts to tell your legislators, though, just to add on to that, Kevin. I don't think it hurts to tell them your thoughts on different things. If you know, in your message, you can say what you'd like to say. I always recommend being professional in every realm of this, because no one's going to listen to you if you're yelling at them. So, you know, just do your best, and you can ask them to put whatever you want on that message to your legislators. So absolutely, if you want to add anything to it, that's fine. But I don't know that the bill itself as it stands can be edited. I don't know. That'd be a great question for our Q&A, though.
Yep.
Write it down. Write that
Got
down. I'm just kidding, kind of. Yep, like Travis said, I enjoy tournaments, but I enjoy fishing more. Exactly.
Yeah, that's where it's hard to draw that line. You know, like me saying here, it shouldn't be anybody. But with Alabama having a 34-inch, that applies for everybody. So it's kind of that fine line with tournaments versus commercial, or even just recreational fishermen in general that want to keep a fish that big. It's just because I mean I'm all about people want to fish tournaments and stuff like that, but there are ways around it. I mean, the bass world has done it for years.
Yeah.
Where you don't put a fish in a live well.
Yeah.
You take the picture, you weigh it. You got Marshall. I mean, we've got Twisted Cats, with Liz now and Alex and the whole gang there. They've got that capability to put that camera on all the boats. Versus having a Marshall on the boat. Like the bass world. I mean, if it came down to that, what I'm saying in a long term, even here in my area, it can be worked out that way where you don't have to put a trophy size fish in your live well anymore. It can be done.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's length tournament options too. Yeah.
Well, you got the honor system, and that lie detector, it will bust you. So you got to keep it real anyway. The lie detector was the best thing that ever came into the tournament world, and so I mean, you kind of got cameras on the boat to see the weight of the fish, see the fish released, and don't have to be any more fish rode around the live well. Then people can get all them big old live wells out of the boat, and they got more room anyway. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, the tournament world, it's an awesome thing. But when it really comes down to it, like I said, it's a fine line there. Do you want to fish tournaments, or do you just want it to be depleted completely?
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Because soon we won't have any fish over 35 inches here in Kentucky. Anyway, if we keep going at this rate, 300,000 pounds over a short stint period of some months. What is it?
There is a comment here that says, if I find their hoop nets, I just throw them on the bank. Just be careful with that, because we talked to ODNR about that stuff before in Kentucky DNR. And even though like they're supposed to be marked, if you touch somebody else's things, you can get yourself into some trouble with that. So just be careful with that.
Yes. Don't want to get in trouble.
Well, you guys have anything else we want to add? We've been on for an hour and a half. We should probably wrap this up. Let Brad get back to his evening.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to let us know. My towboat doesn't answer to the DNR. A lot of your kayak tournaments weigh picture and release. Yes. Yeah. Do it. Just don't advertise.
Yes,
I'm not scared.
absolutely.
Your last name implies you don't, though.
Chris Ford.
Yep. Thank y'all. Thank you, sir. Yeah, no problem.
Well, Brad, it was an honor meeting you virtually.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. Y'all too.
Through the internet.
Yeah. Yep. We will continue
Thank
to
you so
watch you catch all those big fish while we're up here in all the snow.
Well, I appreciate it. It's definitely fixing to be bad here, so you probably won't see much from me for the next couple of weeks, but maybe a crappie video.
Yeah.
So we were watching your video from this morning when you just ran out and just happened to catch a couple, and
Yeah.
Jess started laughing. He's like, not going fishing, but then he pulls these out.
Yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't planning on going this morning, but my area, like, we get this crazy ice storm. It happens every year, and it can get me behind on my YouTube. I try to stay out certain times of years. I'll stay 2 weeks ahead, but I don't like doing that because then once you transition in from the seasons, from cold weather to warm weather, then you're sitting out there, with a t-shirt on, and it's freezing in other places.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I don't like watching that. I like it to kind of be hands-on. But now I'm down to just a week ahead. But I had to get something done to try to get me through next week, because I know next week we're going to be stuck on this mountain, and I won't be able to get to the river at all. So
Yeah.
do a little ice fishing in my pond, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chris said, is the skips running in Bama?
What now?
Are the skips running in Alabama?
Yeah, they're running from anglers.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. I caught last week. I caught 3 in the dark. I can't even catch them in the daytime. They started jumping around my boat after sunset. It was almost completely dark, and I caught 3 in a row. And I went back there twice since then in the daylight, and I ain't caught any. So they're sporadic here. You can't catch them.
May not be the quantity you're looking for, huh?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're gonna have to work for them. There's some of the dams here that have them, not watered down. I'll just say not watered down, but some of the other ones have them. And if you can find any warm water running into the river, there'll be some in that warm water. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't call no names, man. I get shunned. People be throwing rocks at me next time I'm on the water.
Yep. You're probably right. So, all right, guys, don't forget to make that call. It takes a village to get a bill to pass. Call. It's up in the post. You guys can just scroll up. It's on Run and Gun page, Last Run page, and Last Call Catfishing page. Thanks for coming and watching.
Yep, and we will see you next week if we don't get on here beforehand to do the Q&A. So be sure to follow the Last Run to stay up to date on all that stuff.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.